How many wheels does it take to have a good time?
More than one?
One if you know how to roll with it.
That's good. I like that.
Hey there, it's Jack, and you're watching Roller Skate Stories.
Hey, this is Payroll, and you're watching Roller Skate Stories.
All right, we are back with another edition of Roller Skate Stories. Look who's here. He's back. How you feeling?
Feels good to be back.
It's good to have you back. Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody that reached out in support and showed that my presence was felt. So I really appreciate that.
Your absence was felt.
Yeah, my absence was felt. Well, it gave me a sense of my presence here on the show. So from my perspective, it showed. Like, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Feels good to be back, and we have some really important stories that we have to cover. So
We get to cover.
yeah.
Yeah. So people have been wanting to know how you're doing. How are you feeling? How would you characterize it?
As you said, we have the privilege to showcase other roller skaters. I just feel like it was important for me to be a part of that. And honestly, with the attention on me, I just want to make sure the focal point goes back to roller skating, because I appreciate the opportunity of doing everything that I do, and on top of that is like we came together to just showcase a story, and I don't want to like my story to interrupt like what's going on here. So it's just to pretty much get back to what we do, and I feel like what everybody wants to see.
Well, okay, I get that. And you don't want the focus to be on you, and you'd rather have it on other people. I get that.
Right.
But people have been concerned about how you're feeling, and
Right.
are you recovering? And,
Right.
I mean, you're here, so
Yes.
that's a good first step.
Yes.
I suppose people are going to want to see you out on the rink at some point. I think it's a little early for that, but at some point you're probably going to be back out on stage.
I want to see me on the rink. Like, that's next. I definitely want to get back on skates, and honestly, it's just I miss being at the rink. I miss watching other people. I miss interacting. I miss the camera.
Well, you were there the other night having a great time recording IDs for us.
Correct. It was just really great to be out. Like, honestly, that was the most important thing. And then with that, again, I didn't want everybody to talk about what happened, but again, it's something we have to address. Like, hey, you were missing. So
Right.
what happened? So thank you. I'm back, and
Let's get back to it, huh?
let's skate.
All right, we got a great show today. We're going to talk to Mariah Matt. She is primarily a figure skater, but she also zooms around 90 miles an hour. But we talk about that in the interview. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Here's Mariah Matt.
The gold medalist.
We're here today for another episode of Roller Skate Stories with Mariah to the max Matt. That's her internet name for those of you who aren't aware.
You can sneak gold medalists in there.
I could. She's got one on right now.
I want one.
Yeah, she's got more than one too. So that one is for dance, you said. What others do you have?
Oh yeah, so mostly my medals are first and second for both dance and figures. And figures is pretty much the black circles on this in the rink there. We trace those on one foot.
Wow.
And sometimes we do turns on them.
That's cool.
I practice on those. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was doing a figure follow, but now I know.
So I see you out there all the time. You're like me, you're here all the time. And I see you doing one of two kinds of different roller skating. Figure and lightning fast speed. And I've tried to keep up with you, and it's impossible. It's like you've got a turbocharger, and it's like nobody can keep up.
Figure and lightning fast.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Uh-huh.
My dad calls me Sonic.
Yes, that fits. So you would think like the two of them are not compatible, but obviously you put it all together in one package, so.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as years have gone by and I've been roller skating, I've figured out how to combine the artistic element, which is more structure,
Yeah.
and then I figured out how to develop my own skating style, which is very unique, so to speak.
Graceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's given me actually a lot of confidence. I've been able to, without even thinking about it, push my skills to a different level, and I'm able to do a lot of different tricks with my body that I didn't think I was able to do. And it feels really good being finally comfortable finding my own style of skating, and not worrying about what anybody else thinks.
Do you have a name for it? Just Mariah's skating?
You know what? I just recently coined it the Mariah Experience.
There you go. I love it.
That's
I
nice.
love it.
Really
Really
good.
good.
The Mariah experience tonight. Yes. Fantastic.
So, do you ice skate as well? Or is this all just roller skating?
It's mostly roller skating. I did recently go ice skating, and I just turned a pair of old figure skating boots into ice skating boots. We have yet to use them, but it's on the to-do list.
Yeah.
It's a different element, ice skating versus roller skating, but I was able to stay afloat, so.
That's always a good thing.
Any comparisons between ice skating and roller skating for you?
So artistic figure skating on quads is pretty much the exact same thing as ice figure skating. The main difference, in my opinion, is there is a weight element. Our boots are 4 pounds each heavier than an ice skating boot.
Really?
Is that a
Because the wheels,
requirement?
I guess. Yeah.
Not a requirement. The plate is made a little differently
Yeah.
and different material sometimes. And then some boots are made differently. So there's boots for strictly figures, there's boots made for strictly dance, and then there's some for freestyle.
Okay. Okay. Basically like the positioning where you are, or
Kind of. So how
height.
we point our feet and the stability of the boots. For example, freestyle, when in doing jumps, we have to be able to have that ankle stability and land a certain way. Versus in dance, the backstay of the boot is at an angle, so that when we point our feet, judges can see that we're actually doing the move correctly.
So I'm assuming you've had formal training in this.
I did. I joined a team in September of last year, so this will be my second year going into artistic skating, and I just joined actually a new team, Glendale's team.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I like it a lot.
congratulations.
I like it a lot.
So as far as practice, is there a lot of practice involved? Is there a lot of like
Like a
core
regular
training
practice?
or lower body training, upper body training, mental training?
There should be, especially for competitions, there should be.
Yeah.
When I was on my previous team, I would be skating about 4 days a week, and then right after practice, I'd come here. So practice over there would be about 3 hours, and it would start with figures, and figures would be to get upper body structure, and then after that, the dance My coach would instruct us on dance, and dance would focus on trying to get specific steps to beats of music, whether they were fast or slow. Dance was never my thing. I preferred figures.
Yeah.
And I think that structural element has helped me a little bit with my rink skating. Sometimes I think I look like an inflatable car salesman balloon.
When you say structural element, does that mean you're in the mirror like posing and like paying attention to each finger placement, or is it more of just like?
It's more where my arms are.
Okay.
And then doing certain moves, like for example, there's one move in dance where we swing our leg forward and then we swing it back. And that particular move, coach said that our body has to be square and only the leg is moving, so nothing else is moving. And same thing with doing 3-point turns. I have to have my body like this before I get into the motion of actually turning. Instead of turning like this, it's supposed to, they say that only the body, the bottom half of you is supposed to turn, but the top half is supposed to stay square.
Learn something new every day.
That's the goal.
So we kind of jumped ahead. Let's skip back to the very beginning. When did you first put on either roller skates or ice skates?
I want to say about maybe first or second grade. I remember my very first pair. They were the kind that looked like sneakers, but the buttons were on the side of the shoe, so when you clicked it, the wheels popped out.
I remember that.
Yeah?
Yep.
So you skated down the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or in my grandparents' carport. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you loved it?
Unique sound when you roll.
Yes.
It's like clink, clink, clink.
And you want to avoid rocks and cracks, sticks.
Yeah.
Everything still to this day that you still want to avoid.
Yeah. So did you love it at that point, or did it take a while?
Both.
Yeah?
Both, because at the time, there was street skating, but I think what I really wanted to do was rink skating. And there were moments where I was fortunate enough to have my birthday at Rolero. So that was the place. That was where I got practice. And then after that, I would come here, or mostly to Mesa. And then I was on and off. But when I really started getting back into it on a weekly basis was probably about my last couple years of community college. So right around 2017. Mm-hmm. I was going like 3 to 4 days a week.
Now, I notice you're in a fancy blouse there. You made that, right?
I did.
Yeah, it's specifically for skating.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a performance piece? Is that a practice piece?
I'm hoping, the goal is to perform in it. Figure skating dresses are very expensive, and I don't always have the money for that. So my mom actually knows how to sew. That was her first degree, and she used to teach sewing at the Art Institute. And so I told her one day, I was like, I could make one of those. And so we got a pattern, and she helped me figure it out, because I don't know sewing terminology. And so fast forwarding, she helped me make my very first figure skating dress. This one had a particular reason on to why I made it and why I was so determined to make it. But yeah.
Well, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we are here live at a session, and we're talking again with Mariah.
Hi.
Because during our interview, I was just really dumb, and I forgot to ask a really important question, because she mentioned this beautiful dress that she made, and you said there's a specific reason that you made it.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
So in 2017, my all-time favorite album came out, and this album helped me get through some really tough experiences. And it's called the Voice Notes album, made by Puth. And the first song I heard was called How Long, and in the song he's dancing in a suit. And so from that moment when I started figure skating, I had the idea, and I'd always wanted to do this. I'd always wanted to have a routine and a costume based on that song, because it has like an actual sentimental value.
Sure.
And so while I was constructing this dress, it was stressing me out because I wanted it to be, I had a very specific image, and I needed to execute this image as best as I could. So finally,
Yeah.
I was able to make this dress, and I'm actually very proud of it.
Yeah, it's super. So have you used it in competition yet?
Not yet, but I was was fortunate enough to compete in a dress that I did make last Sunday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Where at?
Mesa. My team competed at Mesa. For me, it was the first competition in a year. And so I was fortunate enough to place first in figures.
Cool. How did it go?
Actually, really well. I was nervous, but I was still confident in my own ability. It was kind of funny because I was practicing the figures that I had for about a couple weeks. And then when I get there, they're like, oh, you got to switch the figures up because certain figures are on different feet. And so I had been going thinking that I had it in the bag. And then when I get there, they're like, oh, you got to switch feet. And I was like, cool.
You said switch feet.
Yeah.
So, wow, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting.
My coach was like, don't panic. And I was like,
don't panic.
I'm going to.
Easy for him to say, or her.
Yeah.
Okay, but it went well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I had fun. It was nice.
That's awesome. So I think another thing we didn't really talk a lot about was how you got into the sport. What motivated you to get into competition?
I had been researching artistic skating, thinking that I'd been watching all these videos, and I had saw that they were all in Europe and South America, and I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna have to go there to learn the sport. And I'm like, cool. So then one day I was skating at FLC, and I see this woman, and she's got two skaters with her, and I'm looking at their skates, and I'm like, those look like artistic skates. And so lo and behold, she was a coach here, and I was like, where do I sign? Because I want to learn this. And so from that point on, it was kind of like the rest is history. That week I joined the team, and then a couple months after, first competition was November of 2021. So
Yeah, so not too long ago.
yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah. We're going to let you get back out there, but thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, this is Victoria and Rachel, and you're watching Roller Skating Stories.
How long has this been going on? You've been creeping around on me while you're calling me baby. How long has this been going on? You've been acting so shady. I've been feeling it lately, baby.
So how has roller skating helped you just as an individual?
Definitely has helped me with the whole self-confidence thing. I've noticed that my confidence has definitely gotten a level up on wheels versus off wheels. And when people ask, you know, I should say this way. When Shoobies ask me, you know, what's the tool to skating? How do I do it? And I'm just like, you gotta bend your knees.
Yeah.
You know, and then bending your knees, I think it's a process because then it goes from fixating on your own rhythm, and I think paired with your own music, and then that evolution just comes with like being comfortable with yourself. And I'm finally at a point where I'm very comfortable with how I move. And I used to be very
Self-conscious?
Yes, that's self-conscious about that because I wasn't sure where I fit in the rink scene because there's the rhythm skating, there's the jam skating, there's the speed skating. I wasn't sure, you know, am I a speed because I'm clearly not a jam skater. So I was like, okay, maybe we can do the speed thing. And then it was like, now that I'm in the speed phase, where can I go next? And so I don't know, somehow it just clicked some way when I was just like, okay, well, we'll put an arm here and then we'll, you know, roll it back. And then, so then it just became this, you know, yeah, it became me.
Yeah.
And then all the people on the sideline like, oh wow, who is that? How did she do that? That's
And
amazing.
It's so funny because I don't do it to stand out. It just kind of happens. I'm literally in the moment, just only focused on what I'm doing. So if it ever comes off that way, I promise it's not.
Yeah, for me, I see you when you're doing your figure stuff, and then a few minutes later, you'll be just zooming around 90 miles an hour, and I think at that point, you're just letting off steam, right? You're just kind of just cruising.
Just leaving it out on the rink.
Yeah.
How did it feel winning your first gold medal versus how did it feel being in a competition, like understanding I can win a gold medal?
Very first competition, I was not going in thinking that I was going to place. in any competition, I never go in with the mindset that I'm going to place, because there's always going to be somebody there who is at a much higher level than I am. And a lot of these girls have been starting from like 6, and I come in at like 25. So when I saw on the roster that I had placed first in my very first event, I cried. And even when I got this medal, I was actually competing in Colorado, and my mom wasn't there to see it, but it just felt like, wow, I can't wait to show her. Because it's like I really do try to put in the effort, and we definitely put in the blood, the sweat, and the tears, But it's very fulfilling, because it's like, wow, I actually can do this, and I found a sport that I'm actually very good at.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely very self-inspiring.
So I thought of one other question. Any advice for the young girls that are still learning and coming up and looking up to you?
Bend your knees. Bend your knees.
There you go.
And then
solid advice.
Yeah, and then definitely just whatever you're feeling internally, I suggest just throwing it all out there.
Express it.
Yeah, exactly. And just be comfortable with what exactly you feel like. Mm-hmm.
Great advice.
This was a unique interview from the perspective of, I am one of those wild people out there just rolling around, and then you see someone like you from the outside looking in, and it's just like, wow, what an amazing skater, what a graceful skater, but it's so foreign to someone like me. I wouldn't even come up to you and be like, hey, what is that called? Like, what are you doing? But it's just amazing to watch you from afar, and now we get to record you and get up and personal and see some of your amazing moves.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem.
We'll see you out on the floor.
Let's roll. It was inspiring just to hear like the things that she said and what she took and how she got to the point where she was. So it was just, I liked the fact that she was vulnerable in the information that she shared and how she shared it, even with like, oh, I couldn't afford this, so I wanted to make it,
yeah,
and
exactly.
Now I'm proud of it, and the self-confidence, and so it's just, I like that.
And the main takeaway that I got was just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself out there, and I think that's really good advice for all of us.
Can I add? So now, there was inspiration. So now I want to share. So going back to the progress, like again, that is just, I want to be back to self. Like that's the most important thing, and I feel like the more I repeat, certain things, is like the further away from myself I'm going to get. So just, hey, now I'm going to set a goal. Let's get back to the skating rink, and then eventually it'll be, all right, let's try and get back to, like what we could have done.
Back to the old Marcus.
Well, yeah, what I didn't even know I was doing, and then,
back to Super Marcus.
Keep up with the amazing skaters that we skate with.
I have confidence in you. I have confidence that you'll be back in there in no time.
With hearing Mariah speak, I have confidence in myself again.
Awesome. So she inspired you.
Yes.
That's great.
I needed that.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Now, we do also want to, as always, thank Larry at Skateland Chandler. That's where we record these episodes.
Every Tuesday
for Turnt Up Tuesdays.
Turnt Up Tuesday, featuring DJ K Hammer.
That's right. What do you call him? The freshest DJ in Arizona. When he goes multi-state, it's going to be like everywhere. But for now, it's limited to Arizona.
We will eventually make a collage of videos, but every Tuesday, you have to see outfits. Like DJ K Hammer brings his outfits.
That's true.
And he stays behind the DJ booth sometimes. Like, no, actually the whole time. So we're going to have to start bringing him out and showcasing more outfits.
And you can go up and say hi. You say, hey, I saw you on Roller Skate Stories, and I just wanted to say hi. Give him a shout out. Definitely tag him. Make sure it's big enough that he can see it. Tag Roller Skate Stories and tell everybody. Yeah, great idea. So that's from 8 to 11 every Tuesday night. So we'll see you there. Be sure to like and subscribe. I haven't figured out where the button is. I think it's down here. But anyway, that really helps us out a lot. And so next time, I think we're going to have Sean Belver. A lot of you know Sean. He's got a great story. He's got great history. Definitely. And he's got a cowboy hat, too. Oh, that's great history and a cowboy hat. What else? And you know the best way to not miss that, make sure you hit the notification bell on YouTube and Instagram. That's right. Stay a part of the action. All right. We'll see you next time on Roller Skate Stories.